Let's talk about how global monetary policy could move the markets as 2019 turns into 2020. Joining us for that is Anastasia Amoroso, global investment strategist at JP Morgan Private Bank. Has $1.3 trillion in client assets. You got to think about the entire class of assets, but you heard Steve's report. Let's just talk about bonds and interest rates and this global monetary policy first. Where does that put us?
Yeah, well, bonds and interest rates are not going anywhere. I mean, we've heard from the ECB, we've heard from the Fed, we're staying on pause. And so when you look at our forecast for interest rates for next year, we think somewhere around 205 is going to be the fair value level for a 10-year treasury. So we do actually see some upside to interest rates in the very near term, but then it's going to be a range. So where I think the money is going to have to go is going to have to go into the equity markets, because consider this stat, that this year you had something like $500 billion flow into the credit markets. And that's why the credit spreads are as tight as they are. And something like $189 billion came out of the equity markets. So as you look around the world next year, and as the G10 yield is 0.6% or thereabouts, and the dividend yield on the S&P is 2, the dividend on Europe is higher than that, I think that's where the money is going to start to flow as bonds go nowhere.
It's crazy. So after a 25% move in the S&P, now it's real. Put more money into that.
That's right. Put more money after a 27% move in the S&P. And the reason I say that, first of all, if you take the fourth quarter of last year into account, the S&P is not up 27%.
Right.
It's up 7% or so. But then also consider a couple of other stats. First of all, election years tend to be pretty good years for the markets. The average election result has been up about 10% and 12% if you didn't have a recession. You know, the other stat I would share is if you look at the market performance after the first Fed cut for the next 12 months, the market typically is up 14%. So you overlay that with what we've rallied so far, and it's about 5. So just based on those numbers, we think we definitely have more upside to the market. And then it's just fundamental math, like the 180 in earnings that we expect for the S&P and the multiple somewhere around 17.5 times. That's what should give us a close to 10% year.
So your bosses want you to not just be from the top down, they want you to go bottoms up too. So you've got some ideas about themes, right? AI?
AI.
Anastasia was watching your friend, the person that you brought on that did the AI.
Oh, that was a great interview. And artificial intelligence, from my perspective, if you could only invest in one thing for the next 5 years, artificial intelligence would by far be one of those things, because
Emery Sester.
Yes.
It covers every sector, like we've seen with the education sector. It covers logistics, it covers retail, and so forth. But the AI is a pretty broad basket. So one thing that I'm specifically looking for 2020 is this notion of C-commerce. Not e-commerce, but C-commerce.
Which is?
Conversational commerce.
What?
Conversational commerce. So this is like conversation with Box?
Yeah,
like Alexa
well, just like you and I having a conversation, why can't you have a conversation with a business? So that's where the commerce part comes in. The phone app is actually the 5th used app on your phone, because we message people. It's WeChat and WhatsApp and iMessage and so forth. So why can't you message a brand and 24/7 and expect to get a response? The answer is you can with some brands, and you'll be able to do a lot more of that going forward.
Right.
But to your point, it's not individuals that are going to be having conversations, but chatbots.
How do you bet on that?
Look, first of all, you got to look to the messaging platforms themselves. You know, who's got 1 billion users on WhatsApp and Messenger and, you know, and WeChat and so forth. So chances are they're going to find ways to monetize that. The second thing is who is developing the chatbot technology that airlines and retailers and all of those companies can adopt and embed in their process. And then this whole concept of digital marketing. You know, if you're not doing something like inbound marketing in the digital ecosystem, you're probably not marketing very well. So conversation can very much support that as well.